Good evening, my little sugar wiggers. What's going on, my beautiful butterflies? Ladies and gentlemen, come on in the building. I got an email from y'all, well, several emails from y'all saying, Ms. V, where are you? You MIA, all points bulletin. We need you to come out here. Last night, we need a laugh. I wasn't really in a laughing mood last night, so I was like, I was studying for my test last night because I'm supposed to take it next week. So then this morning, I woke up and it was something much more heavier on my mind than laughter. We're involved, you might as well say, in a conflict in the Middle East because of the Israeli-Palestinian war that's going on. Nobody has bothered to touch on that subject in this sector, so I'm always ready to step out the box with something that I feel that's beneficial and positive to we American tax-paying citizens. So here it is. I'm going to start with saying the Bible is a cornerstone of religious beliefs that incites on Israelis' wars. There have always been wars and rumors of wars since the beginning of time. It is written, both in historical as well as a prophetic context. And not only does it highlight Israelis' right to defend, but it also speaks volumes about wars inevitably echoing the timeline of what we have going on today. The Israeli-Palestinian war has drawn global attention. All of the world is looking because it actually will affect the entire world, raising questions about its deep-seated historical and religious roots. Hello to all my sugar woogers coming in the building. How are you doing this afternoon? So from a biblical standpoint, let's hit that and knock that out the way first. I found several places in the Bible you can go and look for yourself at what God speaks of about the Israeli war. This is not the first war. This is many years of wars that they've had. But in Deuteronomy 20, chapter 20, verse 1, you will find that he says Israel's right to defend with God's protection. Deuteronomy 20 and 1. In Matthew 24, it says prophecy of inevitable wars and ends of times. That was Matthew 24. The last book that I found it in was in Psalms 122, 6. Called to pray for Jerusalem's peace. So let's come on up to present day times. In 1990, what year was it? 1987, Hamas began to rule the Gaza Strip. That was the beginning of it. If you remember back, that was in those Hillary Clinton days when she was all up being questioned about it. Go back into your history of since you've been here. 2007, Hamas rule in Gaza began. So it went from 1987 in my life to 2007. So the conflict has been going on a long time. And it took that long for the war to actually break out. And that happened on Saturday. The deadliest war in Israel was 75 years ago, and it is the deadliest war to date. So a lot of conflict, a lot of things have happened in that part of the country, in the Middle East. But you think back, isn't that where Christ was born? And they've been fighting ever since he was here and after he left here. And then it clearly quotes that there will be wars and rumors of wars. Now, we see little wars break out here on YouTube every day. No big deal. It's a virtual war. Okay, whoever can call the most B's, whoever can call the most MF, it seems to win the war out here on the street. But this is something much more, it's much more concerning to me because it will affect how you live. And when things start to affect the economy, how I spend my money, where I spend my money, who I spend my money with, and how much I spend, that's a concern to me. And it should be a concern to most of us. Okay, so I'm not going to have time to just really finish all of what I have to say about it because I've done some extensive research on it since Saturday. But I'm going to give it another 45 minutes and I'm going to have to get up and leave and go back to work. And then we can finish it on up later. So does anybody out here really know the real reason why we're in this conflict? Who started it? Where did it begin? Why are we fighting? Those should be questions in your mind that you should want to know. You should be researching for yourself. We spend a lot of time on foolishness, but real life situations that can affect us not only for a short time, but long periods of time. We don't seem to delve too much into that. Oh, it'll just resolve itself. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, but how will it affect you? So what is the current conflict in Israel? After avoiding military operations against Israel since 2021, Hamas on Saturday infiltrated the Jewish state after launching a surprise assault by air, sea, and land on parts of southern Israel that borders the Gaza Strip. Now, I want you to take a little time out your busy schedule, and when you have the time, go look at the locations of where these places are and see how close they are together. Another question that puzzled me was, why is the war in Israel happening? I mean, everything was fine, and then all of a sudden it just, bam, there it is. The war, which has claimed more than 2,000 lives on both sides, is expected to escalate. The weekend attack that Hamas said was retribution for worsening conditions for the Palestinians under Israeli occupation has inflamed Israel's determination to crush the group's hold in Gaza. Now that's deep, okay? These are more, I would say, religious or spiritual type of wars going on now. But they're deadlier because of that, and because of the times we live in. They're not just out there fighting with guns. These are nuclear wars. These are very dangerous wars that we're fighting in today. Why is Israel and Palestine at war in 2023? Israel versus Hamas. Reason that they are at war. There are various reasons. A large-scale offensive and invasion was launched from Gaza Strip against Israel on October the 7th, 2023, which I believe was Saturday. And it was led by Hamas. Israel bombarded the Gaza Strip and basically took over. Monday, in response to the attack from Hamas, they retaliated. So is it safe to say that Americans can go to Israel right now? My opinion is no. It has been advised to reconsider your need to travel to Israel and the occupied Palestinian territories. It only makes sense. Why would you want to go into an area where there's war and conflict going on? Not me. Let me get into my chat for a minute and speak to everybody and see what y'all have to say. And we'll continue for as long as I have time. Okay. Good morning, Miss Jack. Oh, no, it's afternoon now. Here in H-Town, it's afternoon. It's 14 minutes after 12. Hello, Miss Jackie Johnson. How you doing? Hey, Sting. Hello, Sherry. Elaine. Auntie Mimi. DJ talked about it last night, but in regard to how folks worried about mess when we got wars and homeless folks lined up on every major city. That's fact, Auntie. That's fact. We do have folks lined up on street corners, laying on mattresses. I saw that with my own eyes when I lived in that Baltimore Triangle up there. Yes, ma'am. Tent City here in Houston, under bridges. Yeah. Good evening, Shonda Thoughts. Angel, happy hump day to you. Auntie Mimi, the little strip of Gaza is tiny, very densely populated. Y'all realize Israel is the size of New Jersey, very small. Gaza is only 25 miles long. They struck 2 million people on a speck. I get the Bible says a lot, but we have a programmed view. Okay. She comes back and she says, tell me how the most trained military tactics, which is the Israeli military, let a bunch of Palestinians in on jumpers, didn't shoot them down. Bogus. Don't listen to the mainstream. I agree with you, Auntie, because Israel is supposed to have the most advanced military in the world. And then we are their backup because we are allies with Israel. So we never get the true picture when we're looking at mainstream media. We can only go and piece it together and try to come up with the best scenario possible, but we don't make the final decisions on anything, so we have to live with the consequences of what has happened. That's the sad part about the situation. Chi-Town is in the building. Tajisti is also here. Auntie says, Christ aside, Bible aside. This is just another distraction. I like how days before 6 billion was given to Iran. Y'all don't realize the government is tied in worldwide. This is a play on us. It very well could be. Usually when things are happening in the world that is making money on the backside for millions of people who really don't even need it, it's a distraction going on somewhere else. And I mean, we've all, if you sit back and you think about it and you see the after results are in hindsight, that's what was going on. Yep. It's going to be a world war before the end of time, Sting says. Very, very possible, Sting, because nobody's getting along anymore. And that might be the fire that takes us out of here, because he said it wouldn't be water, but fire next time. We don't know exactly what this fire is going to be, but that could be the fire that leads all of us up out of here at one time. We're that advanced with nuclear warfare now to take out the whole world at one time. Auntie says this is all so they can keep us busy fighting divide. This is all in prep for the new world order. And the Antichrist is near. And that is written about the Antichrist. I don't know how many of you have read it, but it has been written, predicted, and written, okay? And the New World Order has been coming around since, I want to say, I don't know if it was the late 80s, early 90s, but that was the first time I heard of a New World Order. And it didn't make a lot of sense. I was much younger then. And I was like, what are they talking about? And remember, I'm a flower child. We coming out of the 70s. We coming out of that marijuana smoking age. War's over. We free. We flower children. We wearing flower stripes, plaids, everything together. We don't really care about all this stuff going on. The war is over now. We black and we proud. We throwing up signs. That's the era we're coming out of, in my mind, when this new world order is coming into play. And it takes many years sometimes to get your point of view over. So I'm beginning to see some of this new world order now. Hey, Miss Rucker, how you doing? And Baby Gator. Baby Gator is good. Everything is good. Prayers again to your family member, Miss Rucker. I didn't forget. They're at war because there's no set of balls forcing them to keep it down. Not on this side, anyway. I don't know anything about their presidential staff or how it's built in those other countries over there. But then there's another thing that I don't know if y'all are really getting focused on, and that is that there are so many countries in play here. You got China, you got Russia, you got Ukraine. There are so many countries that could pop in, and they're not all going along with. Some of them are going along with the Palestinians. Some of them are going along with the Israelis. Whether it's a play on words to distract us or not, it's happening. And that's what we got to be aware of. And the American dollar is happening too, because we're sending a lot of military supplies as well as soldiers over there. So again, there's our boys getting shot down again because we're allies with this country. Okay? Grandpa sleepy, creepy, busy getting ice cream, going to bed at 8 o'clock. He's been paid off long ago. Why would he care? Well, he actually has not done anything, in my opinion. Him and Condoleezza have been sleeping on the job for at least 3 years now. Getting ready to go into that 4th year. And I don't know what it's going to say in the history book that he accomplished, but it's not going to be very much. Not in my opinion. Okay? And I don't think that he's the one to be able to handle a crisis situation like this. He was a great congressman, but that goes to show that, and he passed a lot of bills that helped a lot of us. But just because you're a congressman doesn't mean that you can run for a high office like the president of the United States, where you can veto bills and you can let bills pass and stuff like that, that Congress pushes through, and you just sit there and you don't do nothing. We don't even hear from this man. Where's his State of the Union messages? Where's Condoleezza? What is she doing? Every vice president has done something. Took on some kind of initiative to do something. Tajista says, history will always repeat itself. Always. Hi, Lisa Hill. How are you? Hey, Miss Wilma. Sting is speaking to everybody coming into the chat. Latina is in the building this morning. Tell them, Ms.V, what the Bible says about the Antichrist. He will come. Everyone would think he will bring us peace. Everyone will fall for it. Yep, because a lot of people don't really know Christ as he is right now. So how are you going to be able to identify the Antichrist? That's going to be the big problem, because of what he may offer you, or he may sound wonderful. You following people now that you don't really know and you don't have no business following. They're not bringing you any message. They're defending their lives to the hilt every day. But what is that doing for you? How is that putting money in your pocket? So if you're that easy to follow a virtual person out here on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, it's going to be very easy to suck a lot of people in, because they're not thinking, they're not using their brain. They don't realize where we are in life at the end of the world, at the end of times. Where we are, we don't know. But it's all kind of signs out there letting you know that the end is near. Yep. Not Condoleezza. Her name is, I'm sorry, Sting, you right, Kamala. Yeah. I don't know why I'm calling her Condoleezza. She was the one before. She's heavy into my mind. She did a lot more than Kamala ever did. And so I do apologize for using the wrong name. Thank you, Sting. Sherry says, read my comments, scroll back up. Okay, Sherry, read my comments, scroll back up. I'm going for it. Let me see how far I got to scroll now, Sherry. That's 1 mile. Let me see. Sherry, I'm looking. How far up do I have to scroll? I'm at 2 miles. Hello, Bam. That's the only comment that I've seen. Did I scroll back up for that one? Well, hello, Sherry. Sorry I missed it, because I don't see another comment. Okay. Let me scroll on back down, because my time is limited. Okay, I'm at Auntie. He didn't accomplish ish in 45 years as a congressman, besides jail black folks for an ounce of weed. There's videos of him using the N-word in 4 to 5 times. All right. Auntie says, Sherry Hollins, I haven't seen your comment until now. I still didn't see it. All I saw was hello, ma'am. So if you wrote something, Sherry, you want me to read or you want me to know, just rewrite it, because I don't see but one comment up there. Write it again, you mean, Sting? Okay. All right. We all on the same page. Okay, so back to the commentary. So rockets have been fired at Israel from Gaza. There have been separate terror attacks on civilians. People caught hell out there. I mean, I don't even know if they knew the extent of what was getting ready to happen to them. It might have been just like us, in my mind, that we ordinary citizens living ordinary lives and lifestyles, doing our ordinary everyday get up and do this, get up and do that, and the attacks hit. How much warning did they even get? Who knows? What does Israel do for the United States that we would want to ally with them? Well, the U.S. and the Israeli economy and commercial relationships are very strong. It spans IT, biotech, life sciences, healthcare solutions, energy, pharmaceuticals, food and beverage, defense and industries, as well as cybersecurity and aviation, just to name a few in the different sectors. That's the type of relationship we have. That's why they are so important to us. Do you realize that is a major part of how we live, where we work, what we'll own and what we'll have? If it spans across all of these different industries, well, most of us have to have some kind of dealing. You got to have food and beverage. You got to have defense industries to make supplies and make you money. Healthcare solutions, life sciences, pharmaceuticals. Oh my. And it just goes on and on. Okay, let me catch Auntie's comment. Hope you all trapped. They let in millions of single males over the border in the last 2 years. I'm sure there's sales of them plotting. Stay away out of big cities if you can. Okay, that's Auntie's message to everybody that is single. No, she's saying single males came in the border over the last 2 years. Sting is saying exactly, Auntie Mimi. Hanging out is in the building. Glad you were able to come in and catch the live. We're talking about the conflict in the Middle East over here today and how it's affecting us as U.S. citizens hanging out. Auntie Mimi, they can try to come here. I honor my constitutional right to carry every day. Want to know why there's not been war on U.S. soil? There's more weapons than citizens. The only war I've known was a war against the South, the North versus the South, Auntie. I went to Gettysburg and actually saw how the South got taken out in that war because they walked by foot or in wagons, came up during the wintertime. They were cold, they were hungry. A lot of them were sick. The North was already set up on the hills with the cannons and stuff. And when they started marching up the hill, they just gunned them down. They were already so fragile by the time they got there anyway. It didn't even make sense to even try to go fight the war. I'm a whole vibe is in the building. Hi, how are you doing? I'm trying to keep up with the time as well as talk to y'all and give y'all my commentary. Somebody's on the other phone trying to holler. Sherry says the Israeli people are Jewish people, correct? And the Hamas Palestinian people are Muslim, correct? In third world countries, there is no law and order. The Palestinians are killing women and children and American people. And that's the bad part about this situation. We will lose a lot of young males as well as females in this war that is really no concern of ours other than it is, we're so connected, I want to say, with the different commercial relationships. That is going to be our problem. We can't pull out because of the commercial relationships and the economic relationships that we have with them. Okay. Auntie says there's videos of lots of single males come through the border into the U.S. Not vetted. They can try it. While people misuse weapons, we have them for protection. That's what they are there for. Okay. Now, when I worked with Homeland Security at BWI in Baltimore, I can honestly say at that airport, nobody came in without a valid passport through there. Or if they had any other way of trying to come in on a visa, a 90-day visa, whatever, they had to actually go into Homeland Security and be interviewed. Everybody passed through that kiosk, and I was over that section of Homeland Security where they actually had to use the kiosk. And if the kiosk spit them out, I was there to get an officer to take them back. People were pulled off the airplanes before they ever got into the bottom floor where we were to be vetted in. Sometimes we ran across child trafficking. One time when I was there working with them, the drug dogs were taken up at another time because marijuana and other drugs were spotted on the plane. So they were pretty good at that airport, but every airport is not the same, and every airport does not go through the same rules and regulations as they have federal guidelines that they have to go through. But each airport can also set up their own rules and regulations within that airport, outside of Homeland Security, outside of federal regulations. This is what goes on here. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. Sandra Duncan is in the building. Good evening, Sandra. How are you? And welcome. So let's get on down. So now we found out, what does Israel do for the United States? And there were a lot of things that Israel and the United States have their hands in together through economic and commercial ties. All right. Let's see. I still got a little time here. And I'm glad y'all are making comments and responding back to this. It shows that you have an interest in your life, your lifestyle, and your well-being here while you're here on earth, living in the United States of America. So where is Israel attacking? They're attacking on the Gaza Strip. Like I said, if you get a little time, just pull it up and look at how small it is. Auntie Mimi has already told you the distance, and it's as small as the state of New Jersey. Okay, that's pretty darn small. And I believe she said 23 miles long. It's not very far at all. In retaliation for the Israeli jets have been pounding Gaza, the densely forest type environment there, inhibited coastal strip. It's much lush greenery there. So I'm imagining it, never really pulled it up and looked at it, didn't take the time, but I'm imagining it being coastal, being a beautiful place. Only 25 little miles. Okay. Israeli is as big as New Jersey. Gaza is only 25 miles long. Okay. There it is. Uh-oh. What did I do? Okay. Let's see what Sherry is saying. There is no law and order in the third word. Did I read that? I did. I didn't. Women are not allowed to speak and not allowed to go into certain places where men are allowed. Now, that I experienced living in Catonsville. We lived in a community that had a lot of Muslims. They had a mosque in the community. So a lot of them worked in the area. Some were entrepreneurs. The guy that lived next door to us owned a limousine service. The one across the street taught at a university. We were surrounded by them. Every other house was a Muslim home. And on Saturday afternoons, they would have, I guess, whatever ceremonial things they did in each other's home and have food after the ceremony. But it would be nothing but men going to these traditional events, is what I'm going to call them. And whenever we were walking, my husband and I would always ask him, why can she speak to us when she's in the yard? Why she can talk to us when she can talk to me? She never said anything to him. But if we're on the street and her husband are together, she does not speak to either one of us. And that was always so weird to me. And I guess the kids had not gotten too involved in it yet, because the kids would come over and sit on the steps. If I was outside, we would talk. They were allowed to take food from my house. If I was cooking cookies or cakes or whatever, I asked their parents first before I ever offered them anything. And they said, fine. But it was just so different and so weird to me. I'd never been around anybody like that. It was an experience. Naja, how you doing? Hello. Auntie says, Sherry, that's cultural or religious extremists, that our promise doesn't apply to all of Islam. There are European Muslims who do not have such an extreme view. It's the same as how extreme Christians do. And I guess you're right. But in this particular area where we lived out in Catonsville, we were in an area called, the subdivision was Woodbridge Valley. And it was established around Patapsco Forest. And most of them attended the same service and were in and out of each other's homes. So they all believe basically in the same thing. Straight out of Naptown. Hey, friend, thank you for bringing us this powerful content. I thought I would attack it, and I knew that there would be somebody out here at Naptown that could help me along with it, because when you're getting into war, conflict, and politics, and what are you going to say, world orders, and how it affects the American economy, it can get very, very deep. Yep. So I just, questions that were in my mind, I went to try to find the answers to those and then bring it out here and then let y'all elaborate on it. That's how I chose to do it. Okay. So let's get on through why Gaza and Israel are fighting. The conflict originated with the election of the Islamic political party, Hamas, in 2005 and 2006 in the Gaza Strip. That's when that Hillary Clinton stuff came up, if y'all remember back. And it was talked about for a long time. The lady was interviewed. The lady was put on stand. And it went on and on and on until this day. I don't know whatever really happened of it or who told the truth and who didn't tell the truth. But that's how long this has been going on. And then, like I say, this goes way, way, way back. There have been wars and rumors of wars in this area ever since Christ left here. Auntie says, I'm a Christian, but I see so many branches of my faith that are extreme, like Amish or radical Christians. Cool, but extreme. Mormons strike me a little weird at times. Yes, Mormons are quite different. I have Mormons in my family that live in Utah. They're white. That's the white side of the family. And they do things totally different. But I see a lot of wealth in that also. And when you get into wealth, it makes you somewhat different. And the other one you said, Amish, those people tend to want to just live back in olden days, like horse and buggy days. They don't want to have nothing to do with what's going on in the world, TVs or nothing else. They want to live off the land and they just want to do what they do. Whatever it is they do, build furniture, whatever they're doing at that particular time. Naja says they are both wrong. Okay, you want to elaborate a little bit on that, Naja, as to how you think they're both wrong? There's no right or wrong answer. We are all just making comments over here as to how we see things, okay? Promise you, nobody will get attacked. So Israel is attacking in the Gaza Strip, brutal attacks, okay? And we've talked about why. So now let's get on down to what else is going on. Wait a minute, let me see. Did I talk about that? The Gaza Strip escalated with the split of the Palestinian government in the West Bank and the Hamas government in Gaza, and following violent attacks, fatal attacks, okay, which I think was Saturday. So what really happens in Israel in 2023? What will really happen? So this is what has already happened. On October the 7th, 2023, Hamas-Israel war begins. Hamas launches over 3,500 rockets towards Israel and infiltrates in southern district. Israel retaliates back with strikes in the Gaza Strip. The army has said there are just widespread fire just everywhere over there. Firefights between Hamas gunmen and Israeli soldiers. So a lot of blood is being shed. Let me go back and pick up Auntie and Naja's comments. Auntie Mimi says Amish people work with their hands, no electronics, and they don't even use medicine. Now, I didn't know that about the medicine, but that makes sense that they wouldn't use medicine. I've had them on the planes with me when I was a flight attendant, and they don't eat or drink anything either. I don't know if that's always or because I never seen them eating out. And even they brought the kids on with the hats. You could tell who they were with the little high water pants and the little white shirts and stuff. Okay. Mormons don't believe in using modern medicine. I lived in Southeast Europe and Egypt, both liberal, relaxed places. Okay. Nausea. They are tired of the supposed Jews threatening them like they did blacks, the original Jews. My unpopular opinion is that when they enslaved us, our ancestors should have done the same thing. It's hard to say, Naja, because I don't think we were together enough to do that. We came over here divided, so far as I can say. Probably even on the ship, we were divided before we got here. So if you notice, people tend to attack more in numbers than divided, or just one step up to the plate and just gonna take on a whole nation or several nations. That's not typical. Even in today's time, that's not typical. Okay, they're saying I got 15 minutes. Okay, why don't they just say Africa instead of the Middle East? You don't want to give them that much credit, Naja. Because then you make it somebody black, the ruler of all of us, the Lord of Lords, the King of Kings would have to be black, wouldn't he? Born that close to the equator, born in those areas of the country that we're speaking from, born in a manger in Bethlehem. We've seen those pictures, how they were painted white with the straight hair. I don't think we can do that because of that. Do you read me, Naja? They don't want him to be with hair like lamb's wool. Lamb's wool is has a nap to it, right? They painted this straight-haired picture. Even I've seen blue eyes or different color eyes on there. Yeah. Feet supposed to been tarnished like gold, huh? Brass, not gold, huh? See, that's getting even deeper there, Naja. I heard someone say the other day that there will be peace in the Middle East. That's going to indicate the end of time. And that's possible. If there is peace, because there's never been peace. So that could be very possible. I don't know how they came about that solution to that problem, but perhaps, maybe. If you ever visit the Jewish community in New York City and you're as dark as me, I look Hispanic even, but half black, they will let you know you're not welcome. Wow. That's deep. I've been a little bit of everything, ain't you? I've been asked if I was Ethiopian. I've been asked if I was Hispanic. Those are the two major races that I'm always asked if I'm a part of. And I always say no, black. And some people are stunned. Like, I don't see myself any other way because I've looked at myself all my life as a little black girl or grown black woman. But other people see what they see. I don't see it, okay? Sherry says, yes, ma'am, that's still going on. Women are allowed to be seen and not heard. They have no respect or consideration for women in those third world countries. Not a lot at all. And a lot of them stay in the home all day long. They do not come out. The neighbor across the street from us on the left-hand side of us kept, believe it or not, some little black babies in her home. It wasn't a daycare. She just kept 2 or 3 children, but they were all black. The one next door to me, she never came out the house until her kids came home from school, and the husband brought the kids home from school. Now, I never got deep enough to know if they were in private school or if they went to a regular school, but I doubt very seriously if they went to a regular school. Naja says, right, Ms.V. You are correct. They make a lot of dollars off the conflicts in the Middle East. If there's peace, suddenly it's either we all about to be screwed or something's coming. Exactly. So with all of this going on, we still don't know the hour. We still don't know the day. He didn't predict that in the Bible. He said you wouldn't know the hour and you wouldn't know the day. He come like a thief in the night. But what he didn't tell us is it coming for all of us at one time. He told us a lot, but he left the lots out. So we just have to wait and see. Sting says we all now. No, is what you're saying. He's black. Exactly. Yeah. There's no way he could have been anything else. Auntie Mimi says, but folks in the Middle East also have lamb's wool hair. And bronze skin. There are variations of people in one race. Exactly. But he still fits into that profile is what I'm saying, Auntie Mimi. That the hair would have to be like that, the way it was described in the Bible. And the bronze skin color. Do you follow what I'm saying? Auntie says, like, how can you be Hispanic but Afro-Latina and Latina look different? I don't know, Auntie. Like I said, people see what they see. Hey, Deborah Silver, how you doing? So let me get back to the commentary one more again. The Army has said they're fighting ground wars right now. So I guess you would call this territorial or regional wars. But remember the song back in the day, those of you who have a little bit of age on you, wars, what are they good for? Absolutely nothing. I find that to be so very true. I just like the beat of the song back then. I just like the words of the song back then. But now that I've lived long enough to see some wars go down, nothing was really accomplished out of any war since I've been here. Nothing. People were freed from their country to come into the United States. The first war I can remember was the Vietnam War, where the North and the South were fighting against each other, and the gates were open, and they all came in, and they're all very much ahead of every other race here now, and doing quite well. They have their own little sections of towns with their own street sign names on them. Out near Westheimer, here in Kemah, they took over the fishing industry, and they took over the nail industry. Two things that we had not really gotten into. And then Sting can testify to this out in Kemah. The white people were running Kemah, but they didn't get up and open up until 9 and 10 o'clock in the morning. They got up and was back in the marketplace, selling fish from straight out the boats, 5 and 6 o'clock in the morning. By the time the white man got out there and opened up his place, wasn't nobody coming because everybody had already been. They smart people. Yes, indeed. So y'all, I'm going to have to cut it right here, and we'll come back on later on tonight and finish up because I got much more to talk about. So thank you for coming into the chat, but I have to get off of here and get myself together to go back to work. So I should get home probably about 6:30 this evening. So we'll come back on later tonight and we'll do a part 2 and maybe pick up on some more things that we did not get the opportunity to discuss. Thank you, Naja. She says, great live, Ms.V. Like I said, I'll tackle it, okay? Because I know I got some sugar boogers and some beautiful butterflies that's going to come in here and help me. Thank you, ma'am. You're welcome, Sherry. I appreciate each and every one of you. Y'all have a great day, and I'll see y'all later on.